All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Distillery's webinar on 3 strategies to drive Q4 campaign success. My name is TJ, and I lead the product team here at Distillery. So throughout the year, Distillery's product management and data operations teams have worked with hundreds of media buyers and traders across nearly every industry and vertical. And we've really learned what it takes to drive high-performing programmatic campaigns. So in today's webinar, we'll be sharing a few key learnings, along with product features that we believe will drive success for your campaigns as we all get into a busy Q4 season. Today, we'll be joined by Tayden and Mark from our product team, along with Tony from our data operations team, who together bring decades of programmatic experience and know-how in driving successful campaigns. So with that, I'll hand it off to Tayden. So take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, TJ. And hi, everyone. I'm Tayden Hall, and I'm on the product team here at Dstillery. And before Dstillery, I worked on the agency side, like many of you, so I know the challenges of trying to meet the demands of many brands and drive Q4 KPIs. So we'll go on to the next, and let's talk about our new audiences and the 400 plus new off-the-shelf audiences that we've created and are available now. So what's so special about these? They were all created by observing people's behaviors online and really understanding these new and relevant topics that are happening across the internet. So this really helps take away that human bias that typically occurs when building out new audiences for taxonomies. And it really allows us to find topics that could have been missed and really allows us to capture these popular audiences that might not be available off the shelf today. So we can take a quick look at how these are created in the chart below, and that talks through the process of each of these. So what are they? What we do is we really try to understand the universe in topics. So if you're thinking about that, we're able to identify hundreds of topics that are happening across the internet based on consumer behavior. So we have these topics, but now we need to, understand them and build them out. So with that, we're really able to leverage generative AI to create these audience names. So we're taking these topics and building out the audience names. Prior, this was done by human edits. That can take time. So this just speeds up the process and really finds that correct target audience. From there, we're able to find the best seeds, so the best URLs to build out our audiences. And we use this with large language models to really find that seed set. And then from there, the really crux of it all is building out these audiences the way Dstillery knows how. So using our methodology to build out predictive behavioral audiences using these website seeds for each topic. And why is this important to you? Obviously, we have these millions of sites or audiences already, but these are new off-the-shelf audiences that can really help fill your campaign's needs, all while sharing the same performance, qualities, and audiences that Dstillery provides. Just 2 things to note that you already probably know about our Dstillery audiences. So these are obviously refreshed daily to ensure they're always including the best devices, and they're available in 3 different sizes, and this is to ensure that they meet your scale and performance requirements. So let's take a look at an example of the new audiences we have on the next slide. So if we're taking a look at the 400 plus new audiences that we created, I know I mentioned we can find some examples of audiences that aren't offered by other partners today. So if we take a look at this air fryer recipes audience, if we were to go into a DSP's marketplace to search for air fryer, what we found was we were only able to find 5 audiences within this category and along this topic. And of those 5, one of them is this audience right here. So I think what's really important about that is we can really see that this is an audience that is having high engagement online. But the issues are data providers haven't really caught up with that and haven't yet created audiences around this topic. So that's really valuable. We want to be able to find these audiences that people are engaging with, and that might be a miss. So because these audiences are found understanding these popular topics that are occurring online every day, we're able to continuously build out new audiences for you all and bring you these new relevant audiences that might not be out on the shelf yet. So they're out, they're ready. How can you find these? So if on the next slide, we have our audiences.dstillery.com website. If you haven't been there yet, I highly recommend it. It's a great way to engage with all of our off-the-shelf audiences with ease. So you can go in there, search by topic, and look for these audiences. If you're looking for our behavioral AI audiences specifically, you would go to the audience search tab, which is the second tab on this webpage, and type in behavioral AI. And from there, you'll be able to see and review the 400 plus audiences that have been added. And if you're looking to activate these audiences now, if you're past the brand planning part and ready to go, all of them are available on Trade Desk and LiveRamp marketplaces. And you can, again, search for these under the tab Behavioral AI under Distillery. And last but not least, we have our amazing sales and CS team. So they're always available to help you syndicate out these audiences if you see them and want them sent directly to your seat of choice. So great ways to activate, and they're out there ready to go. So feel free to dive in later. And now I will pass it along to Mark, who will walk you through the fastest way to build custom audiences without the time-consuming step of placing pixels.
Thanks, Tayden. Great to be here with you all today. My name is Mark Young. I've been in the industry for over a decade, ranging from product operations across various platforms and delivery methods. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about ways that you can seed custom audiences with Dstillery. But before I do that, I'd like to give you a brief reminder on how Dstillery thinks about and builds our custom audiences. So just a quick reminder, in a traditional lookalike model that you see across a bunch of different platforms, it kind of works the way like you see on the left, right? So you'll start with a seed data set, your customers. This could be gotten through a pixel. And it'll do a kind of overlap analysis against all the different audiences that are available in whatever platform or DMP you're using. So it'll find a bunch of audiences that have some level of overlap, and it's different based off of the platform. And it kind of works under the assumption that, if there's some level of shared overlap of interest in a segment, that everyone in that segment might also be interested in your brand, right? So if you look at this is an example of something you might pull based off of your seed set. It'd give you a little bit of truck buyers. It says some country music fans, some dog lovers, and DIYers. But that's really only kind of a limited group of those total audiences, right? So working under that assumption, you're really only going after some of the devices in there, and everything else in there can just kind of be waste, right? Wasted impressions and wasted budget, and it's not going to perform like you're looking for it to. So that's how you're running when you're doing other platforms. At Dstillery, we kind of have a completely different way that we think about building custom audiences. Because we don't think about it as these large groups of shared behaviors, and if it looks like a DIYer, and to some extent everyone's going to be like that, we just don't believe in that. We believe in understanding at the individual level, like which specific individuals in the audience is going to be most relevant for your brand. So the way that we do that, we start with a data set. It could be a pixel, a CRM list, whoever your existing known customers or converters are. So you give those to us. We will take those, map those against our event level signals that we have in our massive data lake. Once we do that, we can build a custom AI model that really goes through and it starts to understand, when doing event level analysis on your audience, what are the most important digital behaviors that your audience shows online? Like which websites are they going to? When are they going to them? What's the order that they're going into? And we're able to kind of identify like the most important digital signals of your audience. Once we have that model, we can then score it against our entire universe of devices, and we can understand those specific devices who are showing behaviors today of that that show those same behaviors as your audience, right? So we're not making assumptions, we're not hoping. We know that these people are showing behaviors that are really indicative of being in your audience and wanting to convert. Not only that, we try to split it up a little bit, right? So on the left, you're just getting one audience that's a bunch of different audiences together. The way that we think about it, we understand, we want to give you scale, we want to give you performance, and that's why we split our custom AI audiences into different confidence levels, A, B, C, D, E. That means, A is the absolute highest scored. Obviously, there's not going to be enough scale in there, so that's why we give you the rest. And you have full control over how you want to deliver those audiences, A through E, what's your scale, what's your performance KPIs, and it really helps you drive really strong performance against doing something like you would see with a traditional lookalike model. Now, traditionally, these sorts of audiences have always been seeded by like a pixel or a CRM list, but we understand that traditional first-party data isn't always available. It's not always easy to get. Sometimes you have to spend a month trying to get a pixel placed down a page. And that's why over the years, we've really been thinking about this problem and coming up with different ways that you can take advantage of our strong custom AI models and audiences, even if you don't have that strong first-party data signal. So even if you don't, we just want to make sure you can build powerful custom audiences regardless of how you give us that data. So the first one that I want to talk about is using domains as an input. This is something we've been doing for a while at Dstillery, and we just continually see great results from it from brands who don't necessarily have a large amount of first-party data. And what we do is our CS and our sales team will work with you, understand who your target audience is, and then we'll work together and understand what are the most relevant domains that we can see data against that are indicative of the audience you're going after. Once we identify those domains, we will put them on our system, and we'll be able to take devices that go to those domains and use those to seed your custom AI audience model. So you can just think about it as just swapping that middle seed data set, whereas previously it was a pixel data set or a CRM. Instead, we're using the devices that we see going to those specific websites. And this is really strong, right? Because you could say, do you have my brand? Like I might not have a pixel, but through some other way, through panel data sets, things like that. Can you see any information on that? Do you have my competitor's brand? This is extremely, extremely strong, right? I want to make sure I understand who my competitors' customers are, and can I learn from them? Can I do anything with them, and can I target them and reach them? There's a lot of forums out there that are really kind of vertical relevant, right? They're focused on travel or auto, things like that, and they provide really strong signals. So we can take those and we can use those to seed your models and give you that same, A through E type custom AI model that you're used to. So those are seeding audiences with domains. Now, the next one I'm going to talk to you about is new, and it's something that both us and everyone I talk to is really excited about. And that is our new custom search lookalike product. And what we can do with that is we can leverage our 100% opt-in, privacy safe, friendly data panel. And we can take search keywords that you might have run in previous campaigns. You might get them from your search team, or maybe related to contextual things that you've run in the past, or we can help work with you to provide them. But what we can do is we can gather those search terms, look against our opt-in panel for devices that are searching for those terms, right? And this is great because you're getting fresh seed data sets that are showing active interest and intent on whatever your audience or your brand may be. And you're getting it in real time and you're able to build your model from that, right? So we're able to take the information from the panel, build the model within the panel, because we can say, all right, all these people in the panel, we know what they're doing, we don't know who they are, but we're seeing what they're doing. We can build the model from that and then score the rest of our devices against that. So you get that same strong custom AI model, even though it's built using search terms, and you're getting those really strong intent-based data signals to seed your model, as opposed to just trying to find some off-the-shelf audiences if you don't have enough first-party data. The last method that I'm going to talk about for seeding audience is another new thing that we are really, really excited about, and that is using Trade Desk Conversion Details Report. So not a lot of people kind of think about first-party data and previous campaigns you've run, but that's still your data, and it's really strong data, right? Because you run these campaigns, you've optimized them, and you've gotten them to a point where they convert really well. That being said, like what can you do with that data, right? Well, with this new method that we've devised, we can work with you. You can pull a conversion details report from the trade desk, send that to us. We can ingest that, process it, and actually pull the relevant devices out of that report and seed your model with that. And that's amazing for a couple different reasons, right? It's data that everyone has available. You can go into the platform, you can pull it, you can send it to us, and you can be delivering against an audience, within the week, just like all of these other ones. But you get to seed it from any campaign that you've run, right? So let's say you were using a couple different tactics and they were by far your strongest campaign. Well, how do you learn from that, and how do you extend that, and how do you bring that power into your other campaigns? And that's by seeding your audiences off of that data, right? We can understand who it was that was converting for you. We can understand what behaviors they're showing around their conversion, and then we can build that audience, and we can do it the same way, the same breakout that we do with everything else. And we can just give you these strong custom AI audiences, and it doesn't have to rely on pixels. It doesn't have to rely on CRMs. We're moving to a world where data is a lot more restricted, where it's going to get harder to be able to provide that. So that's the one thing that Dstillery is always focusing on. We believe in data, we believe in data science, and we want to make sure that we can always work with you to build the strongest custom audiences that we can. And it's something that we will continue to enjoy doing forever. So now that I've talked about custom AI audiences, those are going to give you great performance, right? And the next step to great performance is making sure you're managing your campaigns correctly. So now I'm going to hand it over to Tony, who's going to share some strategies on getting the most out of your campaigns once they're running.
All right, nice to meet everyone. My name is Tony Colazzo. I'm the Director of Programmatic Strategy here at Dstillery. So I've been here for going on 14 years now, so quite a while, almost since the beginning. Really earned my stripes in ad operations back when I had a full head of hair. And I really have probably trafficked thousands of campaigns over the years and have really used that knowledge as I transitioned into the strategy and data side of the business. And I'm really excited to share some of the strategies that we've developed internally to help drive campaign success. And as in today, I spend a lot of my time really driving a lot of value for our clients' targeting strategies. So let's get started. All right, so starting with the top strategy is whenever you're activating one of our pre-built or custom AI audiences, you really want to make sure you're including all available precision levels. Secondly, and most important, is that you are taking advantage of activating both pre-built and custom AI audiences together to really maximize your performance and reach potential. Number three is applying a tiered bidding and optimization strategy against our audiences whenever they are activated. All right, moving on towards campaign precision levels. All right, so as Mark mentioned, Dstillery breaks out its pre-built and custom AI audiences into various precision levels. Now, we do this to really allow you to hone in and optimize and identify what's working for your campaign. If you look in the lower left-hand side of the screen, there's a great example of what one of our pre-built audiences looks like when broken out into precision levels. As you can see, there's 3 separate precision levels, each one of which has a different audience size. And those precision level names are extreme confidence, which consists of your highest ranked users according to our model. Then you have your extended scale, which is really your largest segment that's utilized for scale and reach. And then you have our standard segment, which is really a balance between both performance and scale. Now, as mentioned previously, when you activate against these audiences, it's very important that you start out utilizing all precision levels. Now, the best way to go about doing that is you need to make sure you're breaking each one out into their own individual line items. And that's so that you can actually report out in the DSP what results each audience is driving, which ones need optimizing, and where should your budgets be allocated. Now, you can really take this up to another level by identifying some custom audiences that are performing very strongly for your brand and link up with one of our client success managers where we can utilize the signals within those pre-built audiences to really build out a custom model to expand out on that already existing performance. Now, moving over to the right-hand side is an example of one of our custom AI solutions. Now, this is broken out into different levels as well. We call them confidence levels for custom AI. They are ranked A through E, with A ranking the highest in relevance, and that waterfalls down towards E, where the segment gets larger, but the relevance score gets lower. So it's really about finding that balance between performance and scale. Now, our custom AI audience product is based off of an advertiser's first-party data, as it's really no secret that first-party data really does drive the performance when integrated into any form of a model. So if you do have access to this data, it's definitely a great idea to get a model built out for it so you can take advantage of that performance. Now, when you're activating against these confidence levels, it's recommended that you do start out with confidence levels A through D to start and really reserve that very large E segment for extended performance and reach only if you need it. Just as the pre-built strategy, you also want to break these out into individual line items so you can really apply value to each and report out on performance and which one's working best for you. Now, with custom AI, you can get creative and test out various first-party seed sets. Don't just create one model. You can create multiple and do some tests, which one performs best. Usually what ends up happening is the combination of models that really drives the most value for our clients. All right, moving on. All right, so now that we've gone over some of the benefits and best practices of our pre-built and one of our custom solutions, this leads us into that second strategy, which really combines the advantages of both of them together with the goal of driving immediate performance and reach across all formats. When you have the ability to cycle between pre-built and custom options, it really allows you to customize different audience combinations so that you can target all parts of the funnel. Now, on the right-hand side is a good example of this funnel approach utilizing both solutions. So at the top, I placed our pre-built audiences, which are tailored really well at driving down qualified reach, especially when you pair them with formats that are really tailored for awareness, such as CTV, video, and native. Now, the overall goal here is to really drive that qualified reach down the funnel to feed custom tactics and custom built models that you can activate with this solution to really hone in and increase the momentum at which that user goes down that funnel so they can get to that action faster. Now, one of the main advantages that you get anytime you activate a custom audience within this approach is it's basically really efficient at filling in the gaps that pre-built and any other off-the-shelf audiences don't have visibility into. Now, what I mean by that is custom models are essentially carving out a group of audiences that your competitors don't know are valuable. So what does that mean? That means when you see that user in the open internet, you're able to win that impression for a lot less than it would cost if it was against another competitive off-the-shelf segment. Now, this is a huge blind spot that you can take advantage of, especially during times of high media consumption, holidays, seasonalities, Q4 pushes, when the price of inventory and the price of these segments skyrocket, and you are scrambling, looking for a solution to really stay price efficient while still allowing you to effectively deliver high impressions volumes. Now, why that's key is because if you can save on your average bid when bidding for these high value audiences during times of high competition, you can serve more impressions for the same amount of budget at lower CPA, so you can maintain high levels of conversion volumes. And that's key when marketers are looking for high conversion volumes, not just high conversion rates during these holiday seasons. All right, moving on. Now, what I said, I didn't just completely make up. It actually does work. This is a quick example of one of our clients that did decide to activate against both solutions, a pre-built and custom AI. This was a computer technology company, and they wanted to drive sales among small business owners, and they were open to utilizing their own first-party data to power a custom AI model. And that was combined with the pre-built solution, which our client success managers really helped identify what segments make the most sense for them. And the combination of both of those really helped smash through their ROAS benchmark of 650 by 124%. So this does work. Moving on. All right, so last but not least, we have tiered bidding and optimization. So this strategy is key to the success of the previous strategies that I mentioned. Reason being is that the whole purpose of this strategy is to discover the true value of each impression within these line items. And the way we do that is we apply different values to each one of these audiences. That's the whole purpose why we recommend we break out audiences by line item. It's the whole reason why we break them out by precision level. So if you look on the right-hand side, I created an example of what an ideal campaign looks like when running both custom AI and pre-built together. You see that we have a custom AI model with A through D and pre-built segments with all three precision levels included. Now, when I talk about bid tiering to apply value, what I'm speaking about is applying a higher bid to higher ranked segments. So if you look at the confidence A line item, that has the highest bid out of the levels. It also has the tightest frequency. We want to make sure we have a higher win rate and a tighter frequency against high performing segments. Now that waterfalls down as the segments get larger. Why? Because we can afford to lose on win rate as the segment gets larger without risking performance or scale. As you can see, the frequency also widens as well. So it's really about how can we help you really strike a balance between driving scale and maintaining performance. Every one of these segments, even though they are different size, all have value as long as you pay the right price. And that's really key to this overall strategy. Now, because we break these out in such a granular fashion, it really melds well for any form of a DSP's automatic optimization engine. So we definitely recommend that that optimization engine is activated on all campaigns running Dstillery Audiences so that it can really monitor real-time results of the performance of these lines and allocate budget, optimize when necessary, and drive the most value for your campaign. Now, there are instances when you have a particular distillery tactic, you may be running with multiple partners, and it's not serving as much as you want, and it may be getting held back because some form of budget allocator is holding it back. Some DSPs offer you the ability to manually change some form of a priority value that you can prioritize a line item or set of line items over another for a given period of time. And this is really so you can really provide that line item a chance to serve enough impressions to get a good sample size of what is this line's true performance when scaled out further. Now, last but not least is try not to bundle multiple audiences into one line item when possible. Reason being is that when you bundle, for example, a custom AI A, B, C, D in one line item, what ends up happening is that the largest segment of the bunch usually ends up cannibalizing a lot of that delivery for the day, and any performance that confidence level A and B are providing will be completely washed out by that confidence level D's impression volume. we want to really break out and apply value to each independently, and we don't want a $2 bid being applied to a confidence D audience, right? So break them out when possible. Now, if you have to bundle them for whatever reason, what I recommend as a middle ground approach is that you bundle your high ranking segments together and you bundle the low ranking segments together. So at least you have some form of leverage and control over applying some form of value and optimization towards each. And I believe that's all I got on my end, and I hope this was helpful.
Thanks, Tony. That was amazing. Thank you for all those insights. I know we're slightly over, but we do have 2 questions that came in, so we'll quickly go through those. First question is, how do we engage with your team to take advantage of the optimizations that Tony just mentioned in this session? Tony, do you mind taking that one?
Sure, absolutely. All right, so if you want to take advantage of any of the optimizations that I mentioned, all you have to do is reach out to your client success manager or sales representative, and what we can do is schedule some time where we can get everyone on the call. I'm more than happy to review your setup in your given DSP. Usually involves you either sharing your screen where I could really dive in and help you make it as efficient as possible, or if you're not open to that, we could always share screenshots or just talk over the general strategy of how best to activate these.
Thanks, Tony. The next question is, how often do you add audiences to your taxonomy, and how do you make clients aware of those new additions? Tayden, do you mind taking that question?
Of course. So all new audiences, once they're syndicated out to the marketplaces, they'll automatically be added to audiences.dstillery.com. So quick and easy, once they're out, they're there. And then for staying up to date and understanding the new audiences, we just ask to visit our socials and our website for any new additions and connect with your sellers.
Awesome. And we just had another question come in. Are these solutions available in a cookieless world, ID-free world? And I can take that one, absolutely. All our audiences are available as user segments, but they're also available without cookies, and they're made available as PMPs or through our ID-free integration in the trade desk. Great. Well, thank you all for joining our webinar. And over the next few days, your sales and client success teams will be proactively reaching out to you with recommendations that align with some of the concepts that were shared in today's webinar. All right. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your Q3 and Q4. Thank you.